right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's been a minute since we've done a live stream. We'll see how this live stream goes. Some of you may already know, but the main reason why I don't do very many live streams anymore is because of the poor connection out here in the shop, which is kind of a bummer. But we're going to give it a try today. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here in California. It's also been a little quiet on the channel. I haven't been posting as much. And the reason for that is because I've been just putting my time more into Instagram and TikTok. But I'm still around, still doing the damn thing. Been doing a lot of cool things here in the shop, and because I focus more on TikTok. And like I just said, the main reason why I don't do live streams here on YouTube and even on TikTok is because of that poor connection. I still haven't came up with a solution for that. But like I said, the work is still happening, still here in the shop. Things have been going better than ever. My personal life, in the shop, been having a lot of fun, working on some cool builds, some for customers, some personal projects, stuff that I've been hoarding for over a year. So basically some storage unit builds. Should have probably used a bigger bag. So recently I finished up a 2511, my personal 2511 that was in pieces for well over a year. Brand new, wasn't even done breaking in. And then I acquired a couple other 2511s over the time. Some of you already know I have a lot of just project builds laying around. So I got the 2511T done. We got Regina Battles. Hello, hello. Everybody joining in, hello. So I got the 2511T done. It's got West Coast 3-point dogs, Egan header pipe, quarter pitch conversion with the 12-inch steel bar that I modified to mount onto the 2511. I finished up one of the 201s that I had laying around. I essentially, it was already pretty much built. I ended up taking a couple of parts from another 201 that I had, so I ended up replacing the wire harness and the coil. I replaced the coil because I thought it was a coil issue, but it turns out that it was actually a wire harness issue because it had some damage. So I think that was the main reason why it was having starting issues. And then I put in a new carburetor. What else? New carburetor with the updated or the newest version of the Mtronic system, which is version 3.0. What else? It got new oil seals, which that I had done a long time ago. New spark plug, fuel filter, what else? Air filter, like I said, and it's ripping. And then recently, Michael Gage from Precision Saw Service sent me out one of his tree tamer mufflers, his updated version, so version 2. To try out and see how I like it, which I definitely like it. It's really nice. So here it is. So Precision Saw Service Tree Tamer muffler, running a 16-inch bar, 3/8 low pro chain. This thing rips super hard, especially now with a new carburetor and everything. It's all dialed in. And like I said, he was kind enough to send me out one of his updated mufflers, just because well, he's cool, and also too, back when he released his 201 mufflers, I bought one and I ran it. And so, like I said, just out of kindness, he's like, hey, I'd like to send you out one of my updated mufflers once I finish some up, and here we are. So basically what he did is he just opened up the outlet some more, because the first version, it was a little bit on the small side, but now this thing's perfect. So we'll start it up in just a minute. I need to tidy up the workbench because there's a lot of stuff going on. Mainly a lot of 201 parts, just because I've been dissecting, and I'm in the process of working on another 201, which that'll also be available soon. This one, I need to sort out a oiling issue, and then soon this one will be available as well. So I have a total of 7 201s, and 6 of them are M-Tronics, and one of them is just a regular. Maybe I can over here. Well, it looks like we have Wi-Fi in this spot. I guess I just have to play around with the positioning. Yeah, went back to nothing. Hopefully the Wi-Fi will stay connected here now. Nope, still shitty. Anyways, so yeah, really excited to finally have one of the 7 201s up and running, and now having a Tree Tamer muffler from Precision Saw Service. Like I said, Michael was really kind enough to send me out one of his updated mufflers. This thing's pretty sweet. Really like the updated version. Bigger outlet. Same, really nice construction. Really eye-appealing finish. Just really nice. Good quality. Very good quality. Muffler already got a little dirty. But nothing a little crocodile wipe can't fix. Let me see, does this have a little bit of gas in it still? It does. And also, so here's the 2511. Some of you may remember that this saw was sitting in pieces and was sitting in pieces for over a year. Finally got around to getting it all put back together and whatnot. Really nice. Awesome saw. Turned out really good. A lot of oil. That's one thing about this, about the 2511s, is that they spit oil like crazy. So 12-inch steel bar, quarter pitch conversion, Egan header pipe, West Coast 3-point dogs. I feel like I got the tune pretty dialed in. All that it needs is a new dust cover. I ended up using that for a customer saw when this one was all taken apart. And then I also got one of the 3 261s up and running. I had a total of 3, and I had a buddy who wanted one, so I built this one for him. Seems like there has been a change of plans, so now I have this one laying around. This came out super nice. I Frankensteined it, so I took parts off of the other 2 261s, the nicer parts, and so like the handle housing, what else? Better looking clutch cover. Also better fan housing and rewind. This one looks a lot better. Everything else is original. This is an M-Tronic, and then I also put a new carburetor on it. We updated the most current version of the M-Tronic, so version 3.0. And then just for shoots and giggles, I modified the muffler, which I'm going to open that up a little more. But this thing came out great, it rips hard. I will also post videos of it cutting. This one still has a little bit of fuel as well. And I know that I preach about not leaving fuel in your equipment, whether it's saws or weed eater, but I've been running all these saws a lot, so the fuel hasn't been sitting for very long. Let's go ahead and give this one a start. It's already 11:25. I try to be courteous to the neighbors, but so I don't like running saws until I hear other noise, and at least 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, but let's give this a go. Still pretty cold. So got that one up and running. Got the tool one. Let's give this thing a go. Tree Tamer muffler by Precision Saw Service. His muffler, man. His muffler sounds sweet. Now let's give the rowdiest of the rowdiest a start. Let me see if this thing has fuel. Yeah, it still has some fuel. I don't know why, but for me, this saw is a finicky one to tune, but I feel like I got it tuned pretty good. Super loud. And then here is the 562 XP that you guys have been seeing recently. This is for my buddy David. This is the one that I did the top end replacement on, cleaned and rebuilt the carburetor. I also plugged the decompression valve. All it needs is a new set of filters, air and fuel, but it turned out really nice, really, really nice. The saw itself, cosmetically, is in really nice shape. Didn't have a lot of time on it. Let's give this one a start. Badass saw. So yeah, been having a really fun time in the shop. Been getting a lot of good work done. Feels good to be back, for the most part, in full swing. And making progress on saws. There's been a lot of good content making, a lot of cutting, which I actually need to get some more tester logs. but still have a fair amount of that cottonwood from the tree that we took down in the backyard, which I didn't take it down. My landlord hired somebody to do it, which I was totally fine with, because part of the tree, one of the limbs was growing over the fence into the neighbor's yard, and it was like hitting some lines, and it was kind of tangled up. So that's way beyond my expertise. I could have done the other side, but anything can happen. But so 2511T up and going. 201 is running. Just got to sort out that oiling issue. I'm probably going to start by cleaning the bar, because it does spit out oil. But once the bar gets put on, it seems like the oil is restricted. So I'm going to just clean out the oil pump, and just double check the worm gear and clean out the bar a little bit better, I guess. The 261, that's up and going. Right now it's running 325. It's running a, 20-inch bar, 050 gauge. But I also do have, I picked up a 3/8 pitch rim sprocket, 7-tooth, so I can run a 7-tooth on it, or excuse me, a 3/8. I also have a 20-inch light bar with a chain. The chain that's on it now is a full chisel chain. It pushes it really well. It's a brand new chain. Like I said, on the 2511T, it's running a 12-inch steel bar with a quarter pitch. And then the 201 is running 16-inch bar with a 3/8 low pro chain. It's not a full chisel, it's a semi. So it's got one of those little safety chains on it. And then David Saw is running looks like a 28-inch bar. Yeah, 28, 3/8, full chisel chain. The chain looks really, really good. Still has some life to it. So it's ready to cut. I just don't want to do any cuts with it until I get a new air filter for it, because it's all clogged up. So I don't want it to, cause any issues and then be back at square one, having to top end on it. What else? So this is the next 201. This is the other 201 that I'm starting to work on. This one's really clean. Just needs a little touch-up cleaning, but I remember cleaning this saw when I first got it. Clean up the cylinder, was all nasty and whatnot. So from what I remember, the cylinder was in good shape. So, and I have a carburetor that I believe is good. Pretty sure this is the one that I replaced the solenoid valve on and rebuilt it. So this is the next one. This one's really nice, in really nice shape, cosmetically, and like I said, I believe it was good, piston and cylinder wise. And I have a whole bunch of other stuff too laying around. Right now I'm mainly working on 261s, 201s, the 12511, and then working on saws for customers whenever they come in. This one though, actually, I just remembered, it's in nice shape as far as the crankcase. Nice color and everything, but as you can see, it has a nice little chunk missing from the front here, so that's kind of a bummer, but who knows. I was thinking, you know, maybe this one I'll just fix up and I don't know. I was thinking maybe selling this one for, you know, a really good price, like a really nice discounted price just because of the crankcase for someone that maybe needs a tool one, like emergency. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because that little chunk right there, it exposes the ignition module. And so basically what'll happen is a lot of debris will get in there and could start causing issues. So I don't know how I feel about that. Also too, I don't like putting out crap. So maybe what I'll do is once I get it up and running, I will tear it down and maybe just make this one a fugly tool one, and like I said, get rid of it for a really good price. Maybe help someone out that needs a tool one as a backup, or you know, because things happen. Just because we work and we put in the work and put in time doesn't mean that we always have money laying around. And as you guys already know, nothing's cheap. You know, these are an investment. So I don't know. The main thing is to get it up and going. Actually, I think this thing has fuel in it. So I tried starting it up. Yeah. But yeah, so this is the next build on the bench. Such a beautiful day. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and put this carburetor in. Let's see if it's good. Let's put it together real quick and who knows, maybe it'll start up. It already has fuel in it from just a few days ago. And also too, it has a chunk missing from the handle. Let's see. Let's start by putting in that carburetor. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this is the one that I rebuilt. Metering diaphragm, new solenoid valve. Let's see if we can get some. So I don't know. Let's put it together real quick and see if we can start it. See if this carburetor is in fact the one that I think it is. And who knows? Maybe it'll run. But on a side note, I hope everybody's been doing good out there. Okay. This is everything that I need. this, and this. This I don't have an air filter for, so it's not going to have an air filter for now, but I definitely don't recommend you running your saws or equipment without one. I'm sure that's a no-brainer, but this is a muffler screw. And like I always say, if you're going to use power tools, just be very careful because it doesn't take long to strip something out. Hey, it looks like our connection is doing okay. We got some folks popping in. We got our friend Ryan Cooper in the house. What up, man? Hi from the UK. Hell yeah, man. I still need to respond to your comment. I promise I haven't forgotten about you. Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody's doing good. We got Mateo Nolfo in the house. Hello, hello. We're just messing around. I was talking to one of our peeps, and he was asking, hey, when are you gonna Grant? We were talking to Grant, and he was like, yo, man, essentially where you been and when's the next live stream? And so I had actually told him just the day before yesterday, or it may have been yesterday, I'm not sure. I was like, I really don't know, just because I still haven't sorted out the whole Wi-Fi connection and just, and that is the primary reason of why I don't do live streams, whether it's here or on TikTok. Still getting after it in the shop. I've been directing my focus and time to Instagram and TikTok. I know that sounds kind of messed up, but that's just what I've been doing. But there's plenty of content, plenty of work being done. Been working on some cool stuff. Husqvarna 562 XP for our buddy David. He just brought it by last week. Got the top end replacement. That's the saw that you guys have been seeing yesterday and today, and you guys are going to see more. I have more videos to post. I got one out of the 7 201s up and going, and Michael Gage from Precision Saw Service was nice enough to send me out, send me one of his updated tree tamer mufflers for the 201. Freaking sweet. Just got to sort out a oiling issue, and then I finally put together and dialed in the 2511T. So the Tool 1, the 2511T, those are my saws that I've just been having, that I've just had laying around. Got a 261 done. Somebody wanted it or needed one, but then, you know, things change and that's okay. So I have a 261C laying around, and that one is available for that needs one. I just need to post it and start kind of like advertising it. But that thing came out great. It's an M-Tronic, running really good. So this is the next tool one that I'm working on. This one I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna run, but I found a carburetor that I remember rebuilding. So brand new solenoid valve with the latest M-Tronic version. Rebuilt it with all gaskets, metering diaphragm. This saw, when I first got it about a year ago, well, actually over a year ago, I did end up cleaning it up really nice, cylinder, everything. Just been sitting around, so it needs just a little touch-up cleaning. And from what I remember, the cylinder and piston are all good. Let's see. So now I was mainly just jumping on, doing a live stream just to essentially just say hello to everybody and see if we had any luck. It seems like the connection is pretty stable for the most part, I hope. And so I was like, you know what, instead of just kind of putzing around, let's see if we can get this thing started. It already has a little bit of fuel from a few days ago. So let's see, maybe we'll get... But hopefully everybody's been good. Ray, hopefully you've been doing good. I appreciate you always showing love and support on the channel. And just to everybody that is still around and watching the videos that I've been posting lately, I have a lot of videos to post. Like I said, I've just been focusing more on Instagram and TikTok. But I do miss YouTube. So maybe, I think the main thing too is I got discouraged because, you know, saw work kind of slowed down. I was still kind of in limbo. As some of you may know or remember, I moved to a different location. And so things just got slow in getting established here in the new town that I'm in. So content wasn't really being made, and I was pretty close to being monetized here on YouTube, which that is not the sole purpose of why I post. I just post because I like making videos, taking pictures, sharing what I do here, and the connection with all of you guys, or guys and gals, you know. So the monetization was just kind of an extra little perk, you know. But YouTube, the way they did it, so essentially what happened is my watch hours went way low. I'm like, when I was only like 600 hours away of actually being able to monetize my channel. But the way they do it is, you know, if you don't keep cranking out content, those watch hours go down, and they only count for a certain amount of time, like a time frame. So all those watch hours that I had, which was like, I don't know, like 2,500 watch hours, that was all from previous years. So it was all from mostly 2024 and 25, part of 25. And then of course that's when I ended up moving, and I wasn't really doing saw work at the time, so those only counted for that time frame. So it was pretty, I don't know, I guess you could say I did get a little discouraged to try to keep up with the content and make more content. But you know what? I do this out of love and fun. So we're going to keep doing it. But if anybody has Instagram or TikTok, and if you care to, you can always find me there. But I'm going to do my best to keep everybody here on YouTube updated. And yeah. Anyways, okay. So we're all set up here. So it's got plenty of compression. Has a good amount of feel to at least see if it turns over. All right, let's see. Sure. The carburetor. But I don't think so. Or maybe it was this one. Because this one looks a lot cleaner. But it's missing the metering diaphragm. Huh. So maybe this wasn't the carb that I thought it was. All right, buddy, it ain't gonna go enough. What I can do, however, just to see, because I can take the carburetor out of the Tool 1 that is running, brand new carburetor, and not just the solenoid valve in a rebuild, it's completely new. Because I went into the dealer and I was like, yeah, I need a solenoid valve and a rebuild kit. And he's like, it might just be better if you just bought a whole brand new carburetor. And, you know, I was still used to buying parts at the cost price plus a little tax from when I was at the power equipment shop that I worked at. That pretty much started this whole thing. And I was like, well, how much is it? And he's like, the solenoid valve alone is close to $70, $60, $70. Rebuild kit is another like 30 or whatever it is. And a whole carburetor is like, I don't know, like 135, 140, 30. So I just got a whole new carburetor. And so yeah. Wait, was this even plugged in? Wait a minute. That came out way too quick. Way too easy. Let's see. Sausage fingers over here. Just pull up the connector. That'll make it a lot easier. So that came out way too easy, so maybe it wasn't even plugged in. Ooh, wasn't plugged in. You guys heard that, right? Well, it did a little something. I ain't mad at that. It's kind of exciting. Yeah, so Interesting. All right. Well, it does something. Like I said, from what I remember, the piston and the cylinder looked good, but then again, it's been quite a minute, quite a bit since I've seen the saw and looked at it, so maybe I could be wrong. Let's try a good carburetor, like an actual good carburetor. Could also be the fuel filter, because it's not a brand new one. It's not a new one, so it could be that. Let's try the one from the 201 that I just finished up. So, tree tamer muffler, like from Precision Saw Service, 16-inch bar, new carburetor, new oil seals. What else? I swapped the coil. I thought it was having a coil issue. Turns out it was the wire harness that had some damage, so it's causing it to short out. So it has a replacement wire harness and coil, and this is what it sounds like. Let's give it a go. I already started it up earlier, so it's not, shouldn't need any choke or nothing or whatever, but M-Tronic, latest version of the M-Tronic. So the update for this muffler was, compared to the first version of the tree tamer muffler, is that he widened up the outlet. So now it's even more of a ripper. So let's go ahead and swap out the carbs. And see if there's any changes. Like I said, it could just be the fuel filter also. I also really don't think this was the carb that I rebuilt, because I had it really nice and clean, just like that one over there. But anyways, all right, so that's out. Let's take the one from this one out, put it into that one. All right. So again, this one is a brand new carburetor, completely brand new. boom, bada bing. Okie dokie. Not gonna worry about because just gonna take right out anyways. So that's in. Connected all the way. Let's give it a go now. There's a little bit of fuel in there, but should be just enough for this test. If I can get the cap on. Okay. Maybe not. All right. So it wants to go, but oh, let me see. Let me just make sure. Like I said, it could be really, at this point, it could really be anything. Could be the fuel filter because it is really dirty and old. So it could be a fuel filter issue. It could be coil. It could be maybe there is something going on inside the cylinder. But so either way, I was going to tear it down and go through it all. But I figure, you know what, why not try it out? It wants to go. Yeah, so it could be really anything. Could be that fuel filter. Could be, I'd probably start off with the fuel filter and then go from there. But this is the next build coming up. It sucks because this one is so nice, for the most part, cosmetically. But the main thing is it's got that crack, that chunk missing out of the crankcase, so that's no good. But everything else, I mean, it looks good color-wise. Fuel tank isn't super faded. And it's got a little chunk missing here from the handle. All right, I've seen enough. So let's get this carb put back in. But I feel like we're not too far from having that saw up and running, or that 201. And even if it does need a top end, I got plenty laying around. I should be able to find one if it does need one, but I don't think I would have cleaned up the cylinder like I did if it wasn't good. So I think it's just going to be hopefully just fuel system related, new filter, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully, and go from there. Go from there. And I feel like I may have found the sweet spot on the Wi-Fi. Just gotta put it more onto the bench rather than away from it. But whatever. If it works, it works. Kadoki artichoke. Cool beans. Such a really nice day. We had quite a bit of rain the last days. It didn't rain yesterday, but today it's really, really nice. Every day is a beautiful day, though, that we can wake up and enjoy it. Even if we gotta go to work and all this other stuff. Cool, there we go. Cool. Now that we got more peeps in the house, like I was saying, got the 2511 back up and going. This is the one that I bought right before I got fired at the power equipment shop that I was working at. So this saw is brand new. I ended up using the crankcase, the crankcase and everything, the piston, so the bottom end, for a customer build last year or the year before that. So it's not the original engine. I do have the original cylinder, however. And this cylinder does not have very much time on it. It's only got maybe an hour of runtime. Everything else is new and original. Obviously, minus the bar, 12-inch steel bar, quarter pitch, Egan header pipe, West Coast 3-point dogs. Just missing the dust cover, because I use that for a customer saw as well. But yeah, it's been a long time coming for this one. It was sitting in pieces for over a year. So, and I just got it up and running, I don't know, maybe a month ago, if that. Not that long ago. So it's kind of for me at least, I don't know. It's kind of a finicky saw to tune, especially with this header pipe. Just a lot of airflow, but I feel like it came out really nice. So let's start it up. I already ran it earlier for a little bit. Let's try starting it with no prime, no choke. Let's see. Super loud. And the hotter it gets, the more rowdy it gets. Really excited about it. So, yeah. Yeah, so like I was saying, I've been in the shop. No other, which is really good. Feel to be back in full swing. Like I said, I've just been directing all my focus and time into in Instagram and TikTok, but it feels good to be posting again on YouTube. I was like, you know what? This is really what, besides Instagram, I was already on Instagram before I started our YouTube channel, but YouTube is really what kicked everything off. Doing our live streams, I met a lot of good people here on YouTube and on Instagram and some on TikTok, but everything started with YouTube and Instagram and YouTube. You know, we built a little fam, a little community and whatever. So I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? it, it sounds kind of silly. You know, it sounds kind of silly to say, oh, a lot of work post on social media, but it is time consuming. It is a little overwhelming, especially when, you know, you're really cranking out content and posting and then, you know, and so the thought of, you know, starting to post on YouTube again, kind of like, oh man. But again, you know, just got me thinking. It's like, you know, this is where it all started, essentially. And I feel bad because, you know, like I said, I met a lot of good people that I do consider friends, even though we never met in person, but met a lot of great people here on YouTube. And like I said, consider them friends and buddies and whatever. And so I started feeling bad. I felt bad because I essentially, you know, went ghost. It's been over a month since I posted, besides now that I posted a video. The live streams, they haven't happened in months, mainly because of this connection issue. Um, but, you know, there's been a lot of great things happening here in the shop. And like I said, you know, now that I've kind of found my place here in the new town that I live in, and with work and balancing life and just getting back into the swing of things. And, um, you know, it's just, there's a lot of content going on, cutting, a lot of great stuff that we weren't able to do where I used to live in the other shop. So I feel bad for essentially leaving you guys hanging and out of that action and fun. So um, gonna start posting here on YouTube, YouTube like I've been, and just getting reacquainted with our YouTube family and whatnot. The live streams are still not going to be a thing too much, just because again that that damn connection. But everything else though, videos. There's a lot of cool. I mean, I don't want to sound like full of shit or nothing, but you know, the videos that I've been doing, the stuff that I've been recording and stuff, it's just different. I feel like a little different. Um, More tutorials, more, you know, started off with the installation video for the Tree Tamer muffler from Precision Saw Service. I ended up doing a video series of 201 teardown when I was working on the 201 that I have up and running now. Um, Wire harness replacement and just everything. So I still need to post those longer videos. They won't get posted as shorts, but they will get posted as videos. Um, and just a lot of cool stuff, cutting videos. Of course, the usual reels, you know, the little quick shorts, you know. But there's a lot of cool stuff happening. Um, so I apologize for leaving you guys out of that content and the action, but that is going to change. Um, People reaching out, you know, just cool little things, happening. And you know, like Michael from Precision Saw Service sending me that muffler and just being super cool. Um, I never thought honestly that he would gift me a muffler. You know, I bought his muffler back in the day when he had the first versions, and now, you know, he sent me out a muffler. And then, you know, Super Clean, I've been using Super Clean for quite some time, and now, you know, they sending me some little goodies and stuff, and just people reaching out and watching the videos and everything. And so I want to bring that to our channel. And so really excited about that. But like I said, it sounds kind of silly, you know. Oh, it takes a lot of. It's really stressful sometimes and overwhelming to keep up with the socials, but it kind of is a little bit, especially when we're trying to. Even though it's all out of fun and just passion for what I do, but it's kind of you know it's kind of like a little job in itself, but it's fun, especially when you're trying to do your best to make good content and whatnot. But yeah, so definitely going to be posting a lot more here on YouTube. I got a lot to post. A lot. What is this? Well, it's a needle bearing, but I think that's for the, yeah. Yeah. And with that being said, I just, I really do appreciate everybody who has supported me in my saw journey and YouTube journey, and maybe some of you that do follow me on TikTok and Instagram, and everybody who, watches my videos here on YouTube and just whatever, really appreciate everybody for that. And that definitely won't change. So that definitely won't change. So don't worry about that. Talking about the 2511. So I have, minus the piston, I have these bottom ends. These are the ones that have the damaged threads on the flywheel side, but everything else is good. Bearings. This piston is shot. I mean, it could still probably work, but got a lot of carbon buildup. The rings are still good, so I have a lot of parts for 2511s right now. Extra flywheel keys so I can start messing around with timing advances and whatever. I have that brand new cylinder. When I put together the 2511, I wanted to go and buy a new piston just because I have essentially a brand new cylinder with like 45 minutes of runtime. But I was like, you know what? Let's just give it a go with the piston that I had laying around from one of the other 2511s, just for now, and then use that up, and then once that starts going bad over time, which it won't, it'll be a while, then I can put in a new top end, use the original cylinder from the 2511 and whatnot, and go on from there. But anyhow, I also have a West Coast muffler laying on too. A little dirty, but nothing a little super clean can't fix. And of course, you guys already know I still love my beloved crocodile cloths. But I do like the West Coast muffler. Obviously, you guys already know that I am also a supporter and user of West Coast products. Gordy's an awesome dude. But when it comes down to the 2511, I really like Egan's products as well. His straight shot mufflers, which I don't have. I've never actually ran one myself, but I do know that they're badass mufflers. Of course, the bark boxes are great too. So aside from the other 2511, or excuse me, the other 201 this one here, that I'm gonna start working on and then put that on the market. I think the other saw after that I'm gonna start working on is Big Bertha, which is my 661. Some of you already probably know what that is, which one that is. It just needs a piston. I think it needs some clutch parts and a muffler. And I'm gonna throw in a new carburetor as well. The carb actually might be good. So, because when I got that saw, ended up getting it for, I think think it was 800 bucks. It was in really nice shape when I got it, but it needed a top end. I ended up restoring the cylinder sleeve. The piston was too far gone that I didn't do nothing with, but I had a bunch of parts laying around, so I did a whole cosmetic remake, redo of it, and so now it's literally besides and the handlebar, it looks brand new. It's a good shape, and it was clean from the get go. Um, like I said before, they didn't have it for very long. They because the saw was super clean. Even when I don't know if they cleaned it up before they put it on the market to sell, but it was already super clean. I haven't even cleaned it up myself, and then now that it has all of its new, you know, covers and air filter covers, and I put a new rewind starter on there. I just went extra because I had all that stuff laying around. West Coast clutch cover, West Coast 3-point dogs. I have a MaxFlow air filter kit that I still have laying around in the package because I'm not going to open it because I don't have anything to put it on right now. I wasn't going to run it. So it has all the goodies. And then I think I'm going to do an Egan straight shot on that one for sure. But long story short, that was kind of a weird like side rant, but the 2511, I like it a lot better with the header from Egan. So, but again, that is no hate on Gordy and West Coast because his products are legit and they're really nice looking, good quality. So this one's for a 462. I have this one and one other 660 and 066 bark box. I was thinking at one point, back when I was thinking about it, maybe I can somehow get this one to fit the 661, but there's probably a reason why he has separate 661 and 660 mufflers because obviously they're different. So not gonna mess with it. But anyways, that's what I got going on these days. Just got to tidy it up around here a little bit. I need to put up a couple more tool pegs for my hammers, my ball peens. Whoa. But it's still a lot cleaner than what it was. It's about 12:30 now. Probably gonna call it and head out. I got some grown-up things to do. Grocery shopping and all the fun stuff. This I want to retest because this is the coil that I took out of the Tool 1. I'm gonna just call it the Tree Tamer.